What do you do to educate yourself? In the current world, at the current times, with current technologies, all information is literally at our fingertips. That includes simple true information, in-depth information, scientific questions and answers, and papers, incomplete information, and misinformation, etc. I hear and see a lot of conversation about misinformation and true information lately, especially online. People argue with each other about the relevance and accuracy of information, whether or not it can be trusted. Of course, people want to use information they can trust for accuracy and completeness, and that's a good thing. It's not just about getting the right information and getting the wrong information out, it's what you do with that information. There is a hierarchy where information finds itself in, and I want to show you a picture of this hierarchy. At the bottom, we have data. Data involves individual facts, figures, signals, measurements. They are quite objective. Adding context brings us to information, and information is more organized, structured, categorized, and useful. At the third level, we have knowledge. By adding meaning to our information, we create an idea, a learning, a notion. We basically create room for discussion and comparison. That's what we call knowledge. And at the top level, we have what we call wisdom. By comparing our ideas, our concepts, and making room for discussion, we gain new insights. And from there, we can grow our wisdom and we can understand the world a little better. We gain insight from our shared knowledge and gain a deeper insight in what we know and what we don't know. Realizing this data, information, knowledge, and wisdom hierarchy exists makes me humble in what I know and what I don't know. And next to that, there's a good exercise to regularly make ourselves aware of our flaws and biases. Ask yourself, have I been able to know everything in my life with 100% accuracy? Probably not. I am not that arrogant. How about 75% accuracy? That sounds reasonable, right? Or should I take it a step further? Slightly more than 50% of the cases? Yeah, probably yes. When I first did this exercise, I thought I was done here. But then I heard the person giving me this exercise. I could make millions of dollars every day if I was more than 50% of the time right. Just go to Wall Street or the casino or whatever, and on average you will always earn more than you lose. So this opened a new paradigm for me. That made me a little bit more humble in what I know and what I don't know. And this brings me to the next thing I want to talk about, which is the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias where people with low ability, expertise, or experience regarding a certain type of task or area of knowledge tend to overestimate confidence and ability regarding that area. They are at the peak of ignorance. This effect also includes the opposite effect for high performance or experts. They have a tendency to underestimate their skills and capabilities. It makes them a little bit less confident in what they know. Even though they are more capable, they have more knowledge, they are a little less confident because they realize that, hey, I don't know as much as I think I know. And there are probably a lot of things I don't know yet. So this curve goes even further in the mind of the expert. And this is also what creates a confidence gap. People who are actually more ignorant, have lower ability, tend to have more confidence in their ideas, how they have formed them, and what they think they know. And people who, in general, better know what they are talking about, seem less confident in their ideas, and therefore are less persuasive in bringing those ideas compared to the ignorant people. So what do you think happens in media with popular ideas and videos being thrown out there at ridiculous speed, at ridiculous scale, constantly at the tip of your fingers? You probably tend to trust people with more confidence a little more because they seem to know what they're talking about, right? But being aware of this effect makes me a little bit more humble of, yeah, again, what I know and what I don't know, Yeah, over time, when learning about something new, either intentionally or unintentionally, I am exposed to my own stupidity and lack of understanding. Where I initially thought I was confident to form a well-informed opinion by using the available information and applying my own logic, I realize now that I was most of the time falling victim to the Dunning-Kruger effect. People sometimes think that they are starting here at the Valley of the Cultured, or the so-called Valley of Despair, where they grow to be an expert as they gain more knowledge and become more confident. But you have to realize that you could potentially be climbing this mountain instead before you are here. This effect helped me become a little bit more humbler in life and informing my opinion and accepting that opinion as true. Just being aware of this Dunning-Kruger effect makes me a little less vulnerable to falling victim to it. Now consider a time where information and discussion moves at incredible speed. There is an overflow of information to accept and to learn from, and misinformation to disprove or discard. And that takes time and effort. So we tend to accept whatever fits our narrative as true more easily than whatever does not fit our narrative. And there's a good chance we are climbing the peak of ignorance in there. Realizing you're probably wrong more than 50% of the time keeps us open to discussion and changing our minds. If you ask me, the goal is not necessarily to be right, but to be less wrong. And by being less wrong, you're not obsessed with being right, but you are humble about what you think you know and don't know. And that's a liberating perspective to come from. It also helps you accept people and their ideas as they are, respect them, and it provides a new starting point to grow from. Instead of dragging each other down constantly, we can seek to climb the next mountain together, so we're becoming both less wrong. And here are some tips. Realize you're never done learning. Don't assume things, but find out the truth to be less wrong. Find out what you can find out. Make notes. Keep a journal. Recognize your flaws and own them. And most of all, have fun in learning. I'm glad to help anyone learning and growing. And if you want to discuss this as equals, please reach out to me via Twitter or YouTube. And I'm happy to find out what we can find out. I love you, dear stranger.